I gotta ask, because I'm dating myself, but I remember the days when, Ohio was a swing state, Democrats, and you could move, especially legislation that helped working people through a state like Ohio.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that in a while now. What is the state of Ohio politics, and when you try to move the legislation that helps people like your mom, how is it received?
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate, I'll tell you. When I came into this legislature in 2020, so I won my election in 2020, then took office in 21. This was during COVID. And I remember a colleague of mine saying that I was not going to pass any bills into law. And, maybe it's just a chip on my shoulder, or being from Cleveland. But I was like, well, watch me. And I passed 7 into law. Some of them went through various bills, but I'm still claiming them as a win because I negotiated my bills to go into those bills. And then I passed what we call the Derogatory Language Act, which essentially changed the revised code and removed all the stigmatic words that really harm people, like habitual drunkard, the R word, crazy, like insane. Those words were still in the Ohio Revised Code. And in fact, that bill made the most change to the Ohio Revised Code in the history of the Ohio Revised Code. That was my bill that I tailored and authored. And I bring that up because a lot of the things that I do are bipartisan. And so my first term, my second term, and now even my third term, I've passed over 14, 15 bills now collectively, and majority of them were with a Republican joint sponsor and or Republicans who joined me on the bills. And it's because two things. One, when you really boil down politics, for me, it's about relationships. And then 2, I recognize that the issues I fight for, those kitchen table issues, aren't just democratic issues. They're issues that cross boundaries, cross rural perspective, whether it's urban or suburban or rural. They cross whether you vote for Republican or Democrat. Like, these are issues that impact all of us. And so I work with Republicans to say, this is not an issue that just impacts District 1. This impacts your farmers in your district as well. And through those conversations, we've been able to do some really good work in passing legislation. Now, there are some things that I will fight tooth and nail against some of my colleagues on because they just ideologically just don't align with me or what I believe is the right thing to do for Ohio. But in the most part, I've seen a lot of bills that have been good bills by Republicans and Democrats pass into law. It's just that, unfortunately, what happens is the media gets really hyper fixated and focused on the bills that are politically divisive, and unfortunately may not shine as much of a light on those bills that actually will move Ohio forward, but maybe kind of boring, to be quite frank with you. Yeah. And so that's kind of the balance here. For me, I know that there's some things that I'm against my Republican colleagues on, that I will fight them and debate them on the floor. There's a lot of things that I joined them on, and where they joined me on, and that's how we just have to navigate that dynamic because, it's what we have.
And what is the state of play for politically in Ohio? Both in terms of democracy, ensuring that it's a level playing field for both parties, and then in terms of electing statewide Democrats, eventually a presidential election.
Right, I'd say that's one of the parts where it's really hard. I'm not going to lie to you. And for folks listening, we recently had on the ballot issue 1, which would have removed the legislators from the process of drawing the maps, both at the congressional level and at the state legislative level. Because what we have in Ohio is, and maybe folks listening know this, gerrymandering is real in the state of Ohio. We have 34 members in the Democratic side, which again is a supermajority. And in reality, Ohio is about a 45-65 split, right? And on some swing years, a 50-50 or 51-49. And we've seen that play out in different election cycles, whether it's 08 election cycle, where we actually took back the House, or even before that during the Vern Rife days, where the Democrats were in power in the House of Representatives for a long period of time. And so what I will tell you is that the rules of engagement changed. The failure or the not passing issue 1 really, I believe, created a uncharted territory for us as Democrats, because now you have Republicans who have control of the Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court. You have Republicans control all statewide offices. You have Republicans that control both the House and the Senate chambers. And what it spells out is an environment that may not be right for democratic values, like expanding voter access, right? Like protecting LGBTQA issues, like addressing, looking at public education and investing in it in a way that is equitable to what we're doing with voucher systems, right? And so there are realities at play because of the just a breakdown of power that unfortunately means that some of these values don't ever make it to the governor's desk. And that's a problem for me, it's a problem for my colleagues, and ultimately I think it's a problem for the state.